How to eat to build muscle and lose body fat. Boys, in July of 2020, I used to look like this. Now, this, by the way, was after competing in powerlifting competitions. So I looked like this, and I could back squat 170, deadlift 215, and bench, I believe, 115 at the time for one rep. And I still look like this. I'd been training for fucking years and I still look like this. Why? Why do I still like this? Honestly, like, you could say cool because I did like strength and ego lifting for like years in the gym and I got strong and all that good stuff. But honestly, it was just through pure arrogance of nutrition. I thought, oh, well, I eat pretty well, so, you know, I must know nutrition. I eat chicken and shit, so I must be all right. But honestly, it is so clear to me now the absolute lack of knowledge I actually had in this field to get in good shape. So you can imagine the fucking pain of this guy. I just accepted. I was like, I just can't really build muscle because ultimately my body's just not meant for it. It's just my body type. I'm just like runner style body, always lean. It's not the case. But you can imagine the pain I was going through after training for so long, that the amount of workouts I'd done, and I still had that amount of muscle on my frame. Now, luckily, I was like lean and still doing a lot of exercise. So at least I had a set of abs, although a skinny set of abs. But imagine the pain of most people who start out with the same lack of nutrition knowledge and arrogance towards it, and also are 15+% body fat. It would be even more painful, and maybe this is your current situation now. It'd be a hell of a lot more fucking painful because you really just can't even see any definition at that point. So it really just doesn't even look like you trained. So it's honestly quite a miserable experience. So who am I and why should you listen to me? So my name is Tom Sergey. This is how I look now. So I fixed the fucking problem. Thank God for that. And I also now do the same for other people. So I specialize in body recomposition for the Gorilla Pursuit, which is my coaching program, and the art of essentially building muscle, dropping body fat, and sometimes where needed at the same time. So that's who I am and potentially why I'm worth a listen. My promise to you is that after watching this guide, you will finally know how to eat to build muscle and lose fat. Now, this is not going to be your typical day in the life of what a fitness influencer eats, because you've seen them and they're shit. Well, they're not shit, but they're just some guy that's eating, showing you what he's doing. That's nice. Yeah, it's cool and like wholesome and shit, but like it doesn't give you the breakdown, the step-by-steps of how to actually get there. It's like, I eat that. All right, cool. So what does that mean for me? Like, do I eat that? Do I eat that much of that? Or what? Oh, you have chocolate milk? I can have chocolate milk then? No. Okay? So we're going to fix this, and that is going to be my promise to you. So we're going to do so in a 6-step process. So the first question is, well, how much? How much food do I actually need to eat in order for my goals? And it's going to depend on where you're at currently. I'm going to break that down in a nice, simple way. What foods do I actually eat? Like, motherfucker, tell me exactly what I need to eat that's going to get me the best gains. The meal timings and why is that even important and a thing. Then the fourth point, this is important. So the first 3 things will only work if you do this fourth point. And then after that, most food is poison, and I'm going to tell you why and what that is. And then finally, what to do when you need to eat out. Because ultimately, you will come up with an excuse as to why you need to eat out. So we may as well address the problem and not sweep it under the fucking rug. Step 0, however, is don't watch this video if right now you're led on your fucking back. If you're on your back tits right now, don't watch this video. If you're going to go to bed in the next 45 minutes, don't watch this video. Like it, save it, watch it tomorrow. You need to watch this like a lecture, okay? Like you're going to learn something. Please watch this video with the intent to learn something. There's no edits. There's no dopamine that's going to come from here. So you're either in learning mode when you watch it or you're not. Have a notepad open or your notes page on your iPhone or notebook and pen at the ready to go. Okay, so we will roll in. Step 1, how much food do I need? This will depend on your current body composition. So I'm going to categorize 3 types of people. If you are 8 to 12%, like this guy, then what you need to do is to go into a gaining phase. There's no 2 questions about it. If you're 8 to 12%, you go into a gaining phase, not a problem. As a rule of thumb, you're going to need an extra 250 calories. Don't overthink it, just roll with that. If you're between 12 and 20% body fat, which would look something like this, maybe this. Actually, no, not this one. Then from there, you're going to go into a recomp phase. Now, the recomp phase, you're going to sit just below your maintenance calories, at around about maybe 200 calories, just below your maintenance. Okay, the reason you're going to do that is you need to keep your food high enough to drive performance in the gym to build some tissue, but you also need to be in a slight deficit because you're still out of the body fat sub or ideal range to go into a gaining phase from. So that's the way we're going to rinse and repeat that. So slightly just below, 200 calories below. And then if you're above 20%, you're going to go into a full-blown fat loss phase. And obviously, depending on how fat is, how severe the deficit will be, you're probably looking at like 500 to 700 calorie deficit. Now, obviously, you're going to need to know your scale weight, of course. So what you can do is, off the back of this, you will know your body fat percentage. Obviously, I have a calorie calculator that I utilize and get people set up with. But just for ease, so you can quickly click off this video, go onto the calorie calculator, put your data in, and know your body fat percentage. Because what that will give you, it will give you a maintenance. Then you could go off this and put in a slight deficit maintenance. A slight surplus, a slight deficit, or a greater deficit, depending on where you're currently starting at. But these are all just start points, okay? So you need to weigh yourself each day on the set amount of nutrition you want to see how your body responds. If you're in the gaining phase, maybe you gained 0.25 to half a kilo across that week. Perfect. Keep everything the same. If you didn't gain anything, put a little bit more food on. If you gained a kilo, maybe that might be okay, depending on the actual weight of you and the size of you anyway. But if you gain like 1.5 kilos, maybe it's a little bit too much. Just simmer back down just a bit because you don't want to get too fat too quick. If you're in the recomp phase, you can expect to see your weight sit around about your start point for a good 6 weeks, or it may slightly trend down, and that's okay. That's fine for the first 6 weeks. Don't change anything. If it drops drastically, which it won't from that amount of calorie deficit, but if it does, then you can just put a little bit more food back in. And likewise, if you're in the fat loss phase and you didn't drop around about 1 kilo or 1% of the scale weight in the first week, you know for sure you can be in a greater deficit and then take away some more food off the back of that. So that's how much food you're going to eat. Now, I've obviously categorized this. If you wanted me to work it out personally, then message me on Instagram with your details and we can go through and I can sort that out for you. That's what I've done for loyal supporters of the channel, and I will do it for you if you're watching this video. But other than that, that's enough guidelines for you to start and play ball with from there. Then it will give you your breakdown of macros as well if you use their calorie calculator. Obviously, if you message me, I will do it for you and I'll tell you your macros anyway. But as a rule of thumb, you will get your calorie target, and as a rule of thumb, you want to take your lean mass, which is your scale weight minus your body fat percentage, and times it by 2.4. That will give you your protein target. Get your overall calorie target, times it by 20%. That'll give you your fats, and the rest you fill with carbohydrates. So even like just off the cuff, I can tell you straight away what your macros would be. So we've got that, but macros alone is not enough. If I just give you your macros and say play ball, it won't fucking work. Just sticking to a set of macros has never worked because people are stupid and people decide to go and eat fucking Pop-Tarts in their carbs because it fits within the macros. Don't do that. You're here to be an athlete. You're here to build proper tissue. Don't put excess like non-human food inside your body. So I'm going to give you a meal plan on what to eat. And even if you don't like these foods, you're still going to eat them. So this is what we've got. Now, ultimately, if you're allergic to some shit, don't eat it and die because I wouldn't want that for you. But this is what we've got. So breakfast, or should I say breaking the fast, because that's what you are doing, and think of it like that. Ideally, you want to go high protein, high fat. So for your first meal of the day, eggs with vegetables is decent. Red meat with vegetables is decent. Eggs and red meat with vegetables is decent. Obviously, it depends on how many calories you've got to use up, because it will be fairly a dense calorie meal. Or salmon if you like salmon. Now, if you don't want to spend the money on eggs, although eggs are cheap, red meat or salmon, and you wanted cheaper options, then potentially something that would work, you could have oats, nut butter, and a scoop of protein. But again, I'll go into this after. I don't recommend going too high on the carbs in the very first meal. just because it fucks with your blood sugar and you're not as productive after it. So I would stick to eggs or red meat with some veggies in that first initial meal. Now, then after that, I would go into a chicken and rice meal. The reason I would do that is it's quite light, it's quite digestible. No one ever got so fucked up from rice. And the same with chicken. Very easy to digest and consume. Lean and digestible. If on a cut, I would add more vegetables to this as well. Now, this meal plan is set up for someone that would train around lunchtime. It doesn't matter. If you train at different times of the day, you would just manipulate the meals to read as follows. You still have breakfast, then you'd maybe have meal 2, meal 3, then you post, then you pre, then you post, and then maybe your meal 4 right at the end of the day. Or likewise, if you train first thing in the morning, you could tweak this to be something light and easy digestible. Have your pre, have your post, and then also have breakfast off the back of that. You just make this fit what it is for you. So my pre-workout. Fruit, if you're on a cut and calories aren't that high, I'd just roll with fruit and I'd probably go banana and berries. Berries are voluminous, they'll keep you full, and a banana's literally, they're like just pure energy. As soon as you eat them, they're just straight into the bloodstream. Or if you are on a bulk and you need something a bit more calorie dense, go with a bagel and then put some honey over the top of it. Post-workout, I'd roll with a shake and a banana. Why? Because you want something that's going to digest fast. You don't want to be eating something like a steak after training just because it doesn't digest that quick. Now, it's not the end of the world. The protein window is not like if you don't eat it within 20 minutes, you're going to fucking lose all your gains. It don't really work like that, but the best thing you could do for your body is just to get something high GI in that digests fast. Meal 3, I would go with chicken or fish, and then I would supplement that with rice or pasta. Now, I would go heavier on the carbs towards the back end of the day. I would load the fuck up on carbs because they're going to make you tired, they're going to make you sleepy. If you're tired and sleepy towards the back end of the day when you're going to go to bed anyway, you're going to sleep and recover better. If you sleep and recover better, you're going to grow, essentially, and you'll be more adherent to the dietary plan the next day. So I'm a big believer of backloading my carbs and front-loading my fats because I don't want to fucking carb crash the first thing in the morning when I'm trying to work. So I will just have high protein, high fat, and then I will load up on carbs towards the back end of the day to help me sleep and recover. And again, your meal 4, finish it off with something relatively sweet. I know you got a sweet tooth. I know you've had loads of fucking processed foods. I know if I said just cut it all out, you wouldn't be able to do it. The average person wouldn't be able to do it. So guess what? I'm going to meet that problem head on and give you a solution. Go with yogurt or oats, with berries, with some dark chocolate. 70% or above. I really like dark chocolate. I get 95%, but I'm a psycho and you're not. So I would go for 70%. It still tastes like chocolate. It's just a little bit smarter way of eating chocolate. So there, I served your purpose for that, okay? So you can have this. This meal plan gets me good results and it gets my clients a good results. And like variants of it. Of course, you're going to increase or decrease these foods relative to whether you're going to be in that cutting phase, whether you're in the recomp phase, or whether you're in the actual gaining phase. These are going to look different. Follow a structured meal plan. Why? Because it takes stress out of the equation. If you're every day looking to see if things fit within your macros on MyFitnessPal, you'll miss shit, you'll get burnt out with it, it'll stress you out, and then you'll try and fit like random and stupid things into your meal plan. Stick to whole foods, stick to clean foods, stick to the same foods, stick to non-palatable foods, and that will allow adherence over the long term. And ultimately, that's the main thing. If we can get you adhere to this plan that fits with this, I tell you now, you will be halfway, or you will be on your merry way to making some sweet, sweet gains. Because people's problem is they don't know how much they should eat because they don't know their fucking body composition and what that actually relates to in terms of a nutritional input. And then they get given just macros and they think, oh, I can play ball with macros. But if you're not educated in nutrition, obviously you can't just play ball with fucking macros. You need like more specific stuff. You actually just need a structured meal plan. Now, that doesn't mean to say you need to know that there's fancy meals and recipes. No, because again, that's not going to be adherent. You're not going to make fancy meals. You're not fucking Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay. Like, you want something easy. You want your shopping list to be as minimal ingredients as possible. You want cooking it to be as seamless as possible. You want cleaning it up to be as seamless as possible. So it would serve you to have the same foods consistently on a daily basis. And like, people may think that's boring. They may think that's strict. Honestly, this is what works. Boring works. And like, like, let's be honest, you can just put a bit of like non or 0 calorie hot sauce over your chicken and you're on your merry way, you're good to go. So the next question is, when do I eat my meals? The gold standard for your day would be a sharp brain and high energy. A sharp brain when you're working, whatever your professional field is, and high energy in the gym for your workouts, and I guess throughout the day as well. So then the first question is, what time do you do your workout? So it's either going to be first thing in the morning, lunchtime, or evening, and that will determine how you structure your meal plan. Now, if you train in the evening, great, but again, you'll have done a full day of work, so maybe you'll have burnt off a bit of energy. For you, you could push your meals as far back into the day as possible. Don't break the fast so early. Just have black coffee, you'll be sharp. Then go high fat, high protein. Then literally just follow these meals, but then backload with the pre and the post, and then a big heavy carb meal to send you to bed. If you need to train first thing in the morning, then you're going to need to be a bit sharp, a bit smarter with this. You're going to need, if you're getting straight out of bed and going to the gym, you want to have backloaded really heavy with the carbs the night before, because then the muscle's going to be full with glycogen. And then you want something just light and sharp just to get straight into the bloodstream, finish the training session, shake goes in, and then you're into your normal day of feeding. But the problem you got there is because you trained so early, you ate early, then you're going to have bigger gaps between your window. But maybe the way to look at it is like this, where, say, someone that trains later can fast in the morning, you just kind of have a fast throughout the middle of the day, and you go heavy towards 4 o'clock onwards, leading into bed. You wrap up, or when you have a little shake before the gym, finish the gym, you're into your last meal, and then you start your fasting window. Maybe you do it like that. And likewise, if you train around on lunchtime, you can just run this as normal. So push this meal back as far as you can, then this meal, and then this meal here, or you just eat this meal, then fast for a little bit, then roll with the pre-workout and have this after anyway. So whatever structure is going to fit around you. Carbs in the morning kill me. So if I have carbs like really early in the morning, I just can't think and function that sharp. I mean, to be honest, it's 5 to 2, and the only thing I've had today is 10 eggs, half a pound of steak, and in fact not a pound, I've had, pretty much half a pound of steak, and then some butter to go with it. So I'm not eating anything else, and my brain's still sharp. I can still deliver this presentation to you. But if I'd have had a boat full of carbs, which I'll probably have after this, I just wouldn't be as sharp. I wouldn't be as effective to deliver the information. Maybe the same is for you, or maybe you don't experience that. But to tell you the truth, mate, everyone experiences that. If you've just always had carbs, you won't know how sharp you really could be. So I say push them towards the back end of the day, because again, backloading it helps me sleep. You can try it. This is not a movement. I'm not telling you to do it, but try it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, fair enough as well. Now, here's one for you. Don't go. So one thing I would fall foul of is I would eat big meals before the gym, or get a lot of food in before the gym, thinking, well, I need all this food because it'll help me drive performance. And yes, it will, but if you've not really digested it properly, you're just going to feel like a slug. It's going to feel like dead weight. I would rather go into the gym a bit lighter on the stomach and a bit sharper, so I can be electric and bang, bang, bang with my session, my reps, as opposed to just going in feeling a bit sluggish, and then like you're trying to press through, and like you're trying to squat on a full belly, and it's just a nightmare. So just think of it like that as well. You want to be sharp in the gym, so be smart with your meal timing. So if you know you're going to train in 2 hours, maybe you get that meal in, but don't leave it any later, because if you do, it's going to need to be something that digests really fast, so it's not going to be an issue. Again, this is where the fruit will save you. Now, we're going to go on to the fourth point. As I said, it is important, very, very important, because I can give you these first 3 things, but to be honest, if you don't do this, it falls on deaf ears anyway. Like, this is just nice information. Unless you can be selfish, say no to things, and delay gratification, this will all fall on deaf ears. The reason why do I say be selfish? Because ultimately, for a period of time, you need to be like, I'm just going to stick to this meal plan and eat this meal plan. And obviously, that's only for you and your benefit. It doesn't really benefit anyone else. You ultimately won't be as social. You won't be eating out as often with your partner, so they suffer. Maybe you don't eat out with your kids as often, so they suffer. So you do need to be a bit selfish. But let's be honest, like, are you going to be a better person because you're in better shape? Let's say you are a father. Let's say you're a father and you've been following this plan for 8 weeks and you've seen a lot of good gains and you're starting to see your six-pack. So because you're starting to see your six-pack, you're a little bit happier. Because you're a little bit happier, you perform a little bit better at work. Because you perform a little bit better at work, over time, you actually get a bit of a raise. Because you get a bit of a raise, you can afford to go and buy your kids this toy they really wanted. Because you could buy the toy they really wanted, your relationship grew with them. Not that they're superficial kids and want toys and shit, but let's just say, because you worked hard, you could give them something they wanted to. You were more happy, so you were more present and loving around them. And therefore, you had a better relationship with your kids. So weirdly enough, by looking after yourself, you actually look after other people. Think of the analogy on a plane where they say, in the event of whatever, oxygen mask will come down. You need to put yours on first before you can help other people. Look at this as exactly the same, because it's the same. One may sound more severe than the other, but they're the same. If you look after yourself, if you're healthy, if you're fit, you can look after your family and the people around you in a better way. The same goes for the opposite way. You skip the gym, so you feel a bit bad about yourself. You felt a bit bad about yourself, so you had a cake. You had a cake and you put on more weight. Because you had a cake and you carb crashed, you then were anxious and tired. Your kids asked for this thing, but you don't really want to buy it for them. Because you want to buy it for them, they don't like you just a little bit more. Because they don't like you, you don't like them. And it all just compounds downwards. All because you didn't go to the gym, got a little bit fatter, a little bit sad and angry, and you were less loving and present towards your kids. This is one analogy. How you do one thing in life is how you do everything. So I would really, really encourage you to be selfish in this instant when it is your health. Because weirdly enough, everyone else will benefit. Saying no to things. It is easy for me to sit here through this circular screen on the internet and tell you to say no to things. Because I'm not in your situation. So I can appreciate that. I really can. But just know, I live and breathe this myself. That's why I have the results I do. That's why I can speak with this level of conviction. I say no to things. If it's not going to serve my goals, then I'm not going to do it. Now, this doesn't need to be forever, but it does need to be for a short period of time. Now, if you say no to things that you wanted to do, that is the definition of discipline. Discipline isn't doing something hard. It's doing something that you specifically didn't want to do, but you did it anyway. If you were able to train your muscle of discipline, would your life improve, yes or no? So it would surely serve you, again, to get used to training that muscle of discipline and saying no to things that would actually benefit you over the long term. I'm not saying say no to everything forever and this is your life forever. Although this is your life, if you want to get in shape, it is a lifestyle, that's it. But to be honest, when you're in shape, it's much easier to go and do naughty things and eat out and drink out and still stay in shape. If you're not in shape, then ultimately you need to pay that price in the beginning. So again, it would serve you to say no to things just like it would serve you to be selfish to get to this goal to actually help other people over the long run. And the last thing I'll say is you need to be able to delay gratification. This thing, it will not come fast. A body recomp may come fast. Like, to be fair, if you look at some of these results, that was 12 weeks, that was 9 weeks, that was 14, that was about 16, that was 16, that was 8. So maybe you could say some fast. Nice, cool. But again, they've got me literally telling them, do this at exactly this time, on this day, and we check in and all this sort of stuff. If you're running this by yourself, and you've got your own brain telling you to do one thing and then do another, then ultimately it may take a little bit longer. So you need to have the mindset of delaying gratification. You need to be okay with knowing you're going to do this thing, it's going to be hard, you're not going to see the results straight away, you're not going to see them tomorrow, you're not even going to see them next week. Maybe it depends how bad your starting point is. But you need to be okay with it not being that, like, you're not going to see the rewards. I posted a reel on Instagram today, which if you want to go and check it out after this video, there'll be a link in the description, of like me in May 2023, how I looked, and me in May 2024. And I literally said the same. I was like, how I look the next day, you never know. How I look the week after, again, you wouldn't be able to tell. How I look 1 year from now, completely different. So it's promising. So get used to saying no to things, be selfish, and delay gratification. I can give you the physique. I can give you the body right now. But if you don't develop into the man that has these traits, you will fuck it up. You will get back out of shape. You will look like shit because you're not capable of keeping hold of the physique. I can give you the meal plan. I can give you the macro plan. I can walk you through it. If we don't fix that, it doesn't matter. None of this nice information matters if you can't apply it and stick to it long term. And ultimately, why so many people are out of shape is because that is the case. So, like I've said a million times on this channel, but I will say it again because hopefully you're a new viewer watching this, it's not about the physique. And it never was. It was about the man you needed to become to get the physique. It was about going from this pissant weasel to this less pissant weasel. So that's what it's about. It's not about the abs, okay? It's about you being capable and you being the man that deserves it through his actions. If we don't fix those, none of this matters. I really want you to understand that. But let's move past that. Most food is poison. Now, what do I mean by this? If you go into Starbucks, and you've been into Starbucks recently, picture what's in the fridge there. You've got pastries, you've got cakes, you've got like yogurty shit, you've got just weird stuff. None of that is proper food. Like a cake, it's not proper food, is it? It was a man-made thing that's then been like made into existence. The same with like pastries. They're not proper food, are they? Same with pizzas. Like, it's not proper food. Same with McDonald's. Same with like any fast food. It's not actual food. It doesn't have any nutrients. Weirdly enough, next time you're in the supermarket and you're going to pay, they've always got stuff in the aisles leading up to where you go and pay. And if you just look in those aisles, nothing within that aisle is proper food. And it's when you see it, when you really see it, you can't unsee it. And wherever I look now, I'm like, that's not even food. Like, it's got calories and shit on it, but it's not food. It's not nutrients. It doesn't have anything. And I'll hold my hands up on this. You can find on this channel me eating a bowl of cereal, and I'll hold my hands up and tell you I was wrong on that day to do so. I fully accept that is not a good thing to show the internet. And if you've seen that video and you copied me, I'm sorry, because it's not a good thing to have. Eating cereal is not fucking good. It's not proper food. It's just sugar, to tell you the truth. It's just fucking sugar. It tastes nice. It turns your brain into a vegetable. I know because I've done it, and that's how I know I can tell you don't do it. All right, you can point your finger at me and say, but you had it, so I'm gonna have it. It's not about that. I'm telling you it's bad. I know it's bad because I've done it. I stepped in the puddle and got wet trainers. Watch out for this puddle. No, but you stepped in it, so I'm gonna step. No. I did it wrong. I'm saying I was wrong. Don't copy me. Don't have fucking cereal. It's poison. It's literally poison. It's just sugar. If you have that for breakfast, God help the rest of your day. And that's what the majority of average people are having. And that's why they will ultimately stay average forever. I don't have that. My brain stays sharp. And that's why I've been able to film over 100 videos a row, in 100 days in a row of filming videos on YouTube. So, that, like, if you look around, majority of food is poison. So how do you get around that? You just eat whole, clean foods. And as a rule of thumb, just think, did your great-great-great-grandpa eat it? If he did, it's probably going to be safe because it's still here now. If it wasn't around then, I probably wouldn't go too close to it. Now, there are a few things that I've said in this diet plan that you could even cut out. You could look at, like, a shake, potentially. Like, if you don't need it to meet your protein target, honestly, I wouldn't even have it. Yeah, they're good. And you can get some that are like single ingredient, but if you don't really need it to meet your protein target, don't even have it. Like, stick to whole options. I'll be honest, I actually don't have any shakes anymore because I just don't need to have them. I get enough through my whole food sources. If you can get honey, don't get the syrup like shit. Get the proper quality stuff, and proper quality honey will come in like a jelly style form, if that makes sense. It's not really runny and really clear that you can see through. A bagel, again, probably not really the best thing to be having as a pre-workout, but if you're bulking, it's not a horrendous option. But again, stick to fruit if you can. Anything else in here that I want to pull apart? Oats are okay, I guess. Yogurt's not too bad. Depends actually what yogurt is. You want the full fat stuff, to tell you the truth. The low fat stuff is fine if you're cutting and it's lower calorie and you generally like the yogurt. It's a sweeter meal that keeps your adherence. Fair enough, but again, I would be just check what's in it, because a lot of the yogurts you see where they're all like they've got flavors and stuff. It's just, again, they've just been poisoned with sugar. So this meal plan, generally speaking, this meal plan has got whole foods across the base, bar a few exceptions. If you wanted to be really rigid, you could pull this apart and take the bagel out. for sure. And to be honest, I actually think the dark chocolate's not a bad option, to tell you the truth. But again, most food is poison, so stay away from it. Now, if you must eat out, if you have to eat out, like don't eat out, because majority of the places they have not got your dietary requirements in mind. They have your palate in mind, so you keep coming back. And it's very, very hard to make consistent progress if you're consistently eating out. Because how are you going to know what calories are within a given food? Because look at it like this. You may even go to a place that's got the calories on. It has the calories because just once, they measured it out. Not every time they make that dish they weigh. Do you think they weigh it out every time to make that dish? No. They know roughly the size of the meat to give you, so they're not giving you like loads over and they're eating into their profits. But like everything else, they're just roughly guessing. They may have like cups and measurement stuff. They're not weighing it out gram for gram to spit out the macros and the calories for you. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. That sounds obvious when I say it. But before then, you may have seen calories on the menu. For this is only 640 calories. I can have this. It's probably more like 8. So as a rule of thumb, take it as like a 10, 20% either side of what they're actually saying. So try and avoid eating out. I've said that like earlier in this guide, but if you must eat out, if you just cannot help it, if it's a family do and it'd just be so offensive for you not to go and eat with them, then fine. I have a solution for you, and we're going to roll into that now. So in the event you need to eat out, ideally the first question I ask my clients is, do you have the menu? If you have the menu, beautiful. If you can select the menu as in you're the one choosing where to go, great. If you can't and it's picked for you, fair enough, we're playing damage limitation. We will pick the best thing off that menu. Now, this is what you're going to choose relative to if you're on the menu, and then I'll tell you what to do with the rest of your diet. If it's a breakfast you've got to attend, you want poached eggs over fried eggs. Egg white omelettes with veggies, ideally, would be good. Greek yogurt, 0% fat. Fruit, only if it's a training day and you have to. And black coffee. So stay away from lattes, stay away from whole egg omelettes, stay away from bread, juices. And the reason why is you just can't quantify how much has gone into it. If we're just playing damage limitation here. I know whole eggs are very good. The center of the egg is sacred. Of course it is. But I'm telling you, when you need to eat out, don't have higher fat options because it's just going to come at more calorie cost. More than likely, though, you're going to be having a lunch or an evening meal out. So stay away from fried chicken and fried fish. Okay, stick to grilled or baked chicken, burgers or red meat in general. Now, you can get a steak, but it just depends which one. If you're going to get a real fatty steak, it's just going to come with more calories. So I would generally stick to white fish or seafood instead of salmon or mackerel. I would stay away from burgers and red meat, and I'd just stick to something lean. Because, let's be honest, chicken is less calories than a steak, so it makes sense if we're going to eat out where everything is heightened anyway, why not just go for the one that's less calories? If you're going to have soups, don't go for the creamy ones. Same with the sauces, don't go for creamy sauces. Go for like broth style soups, like water stuff that you can see the way through it. Instead of getting burgers and wraps, wrap it in lettuce. Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Sauces, ask for them on the side. And when you're looking for carbs, if you do need to, but again, I would just stay off the carbs. If you're going to have a meal out, just tell yourself it's going to be a no carb meal. If you really had to, don't get fries or sweet potato fries. Stick to baked or sweet potatoes. Now, alcohol and desserts is kind of a non-negotiable. Literally just don't have them. Like, there's no real reason you need to have a dessert. In the event you absolutely have to or it's offensive, have fruit, or maybe then you have the nice coffee as a dessert. Alcohol. Now, I know you motherfuckers will still end up drinking at some point on this plan, so I'm going to give you what you should have as opposed to saying don't do it at all. I know you probably will, so I may as well help you in this situation. If you must drink, stick to single gins or vodkas with 0-calorie mixers, Diet Coke, 7-Up, or tonic water. They're going to be your best bets, your safest options. You're looking at like one shot of gin or vodka, I think it's about 100 calories. If you mix it with zero mixer, obviously it's only still 100 calories. So if you have 5 or 6, cool, it was only 5 or 600 calories you had, and you took that away from your meal plan. Now, on this meal plan, what you're going to do is assess what food you are going to eat within the given day, and then you'll need to pull something out. So let's say if you have to eat out or you have to go out on that day, you want to prioritize protein. So ensure you got your protein in for breakfast, ensure you got the chicken out of this meal, and then your evening meal that you have out has protein as well. Just then have your carbs around the workout. So you may have these pre and the post, and that be okay, or you have one sitting of veg that go, one sitting of rice that goes with that chicken meal, and that's your carbs. The rest of the time, you allocate your calories to that meal out. So it's quite a big detriment when you are on the plan, especially if you're going to be in the recomp phase or the fat loss phase. It will hurt you dearly. If you're in a gaining phase, it's not as bad, obviously, but again, it's going to skew your numbers, and you're probably just going to put on. Depends if you've been training hard and how big your surplus is, and if you were smart with it, you should be okay in a gaining phase, generally speaking. So, if you followed everything I said in this video and you took notes, you will no doubt be able to fulfill the promise of how to eat to build muscle and lose fat. Just to summarize, you're going to fall into one of these three categories. You already know your scale weight. So you know your maintenance target. Get that maintenance target and do one of three things to it relative to where you're sitting. Track your scale weight for the week, obviously, and then make the changes off the back of that. Now, you're going to get your macros and your calories, which we told you how to do as well. And then from there, you're going to make this meal plan fit your calories and macros. So you're going to look, okay, well, I need X amount of protein. You look at the protein sources. Okay, so there's eggs, there's chicken again. Bang, 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 bang. You're going to look at the fats. Okay, right, that's, we've got the dark chocolate, nut butter if we're having this meal, or it's got the fat from the eggs. Bang, 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 sort it all out. And the rest is filled with carbs, and you're going to piece together this diet. You're going to stick to this diet. One version of the truth. Don't fucking change it. Just stick to it, and that's it. Then you're going to work out when is the best time to eat your meals, relative to training, relative to your work, relative to sleeping and being sharp and alert. And then after that, it is essentially how well you are at developing into the man you need to become that can be selfish, say no to things, and delay gratification. And then off the back of that, we know food is poison, and don't eat out, but if you do, you've got the solutions. I hope you found this useful. If you did, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram. If you want me to work out your specific calorie target, then message me on there. And if you want me to transform your life and your physique, then message me on Instagram and we can get started ASAP.